The first voice to name the danger owns the room. All hands, Monday morning. Cameras click on. The feed is a sea of blinking squares and shallow breaths. You say 3 things in 30 seconds. What happened, what it costs, what happens next, with names and dates. You leave no space for rumor to draft its own script. The chat slows. People take notes. Fear moves from fog to schedule. Truth didn't win on its own. Your frame carried it to work. Now, a viral scandal. Your company trends for the wrong reason. Many rush to apologize, explain, plead for nuance. You don't. You set the order. Facts confirmed. Scope of investigation. Interim guardrails. Consequence triggers. You say less than your critics, but you say it in sequence. Those who wanted a bonfire get a procedure instead. Those who wanted certainty got timing. The crowd's anger cools because the frame offers them a path other than shouting. The third scene is private and soft. A long relationship enters its last argument. You speak first, not louder, but clearer. This is a decision, not a debate. Respect remains, access ends. If insults begin, the call ends. You don't perform pain, you set border stones. The other person can rage or bargain, but the terrain is fixed. Your tone is iron under velvet. The conversation finishes in 1 hour, not 3 months of echoes. Again, the frame ruled the feeling. Why does this work? Because under pressure, likability wobbles. Enforceable respect steadies the group. People relax when standards have teeth. The charming manager who promises, "We'll fix it" without a penalty, breeds anxiety, not loyalty. The polite partner who never closes a door invites intruders. The leader who enforces a small, known consequence once, calmly, creates a memory that keeps the next 10 meetings short. Fear and love, Machiavelli wrote, are tools. In modern rooms, they show up as credibility. This is not a hymn to cruelty. Mercy before order breeds contempt. Mercy after order breeds trust. Being pleasant is decoration. Being predictable is architecture. When the deadline is a wish, morale rots. When the deadline is a line, morale breathes. Everyone can plan. This is the real kindness, a structure that can carry feelings without spilling it across the floor. Name the dark law plainly. Who frames? Rules. Control the sequence, facts, costs, next steps, and you lower confusion. Make incentives, visible priority for on-time work, credits for clean delivery, friction for scope creep, and you change behavior without shouting. Preserve consequence memory, document once, enforce once, let the ledger travel and your reputation works while you sleep. Minds align not because you dazzled them, but because your frame makes compliance cheaper than resistance. Practice this like craft, not theater. In meetings, speak in threes and finish with owners and dates. In crises, publish a single page that states the trigger for each action, so you aren't negotiating in the fire. In relationships, replace endless discussion with simple, repeatable rules. The door closes at insult. The schedule holds unless paid. You are not colder, you are clearer. Clarity saves everyone from the tax of guessing you. Understand what your opponents understand. The first credible story becomes the map. If you let others write it, you will later bleed trying to correct it. If you write it first, brief, factual, enforceable, you will look lucky while you are only disciplined. People will accuse you of manipulation. Let them. They will also sleep better because your process keeps the weather inside the walls. This is the throne offered to anyone who can speak before the panic and after the facts. Frame the space, price the behavior. Let memory carry the crown. Then kindness can return without breaking the gates. I frame first, so the room can rest. A prince must imitate the fox and the lion, For the lion cannot protect himself from traps, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves. You were promised that truth sells itself, that authenticity creates trust, that speed signals strength, that niceness earns loyalty. These are warm stories for cold markets. Emotion follows structure, not slogans. People attach to whoever reduces uncertainty with rules and then acts when it costs. If you want order, engineer it. Stop hoping the room will intuit your virtue. Start with honesty without logistics. Raw confession feels noble because it hurts to say. It also pours gasoline on fear when no plan follows. Sequence beats sentiment. Facts, costs, next steps. Picture a founder posting, "We're transparent, revenue dipped, and we care." Anxiety spikes because there is no calendar, no numbers, no trigger for action. Now watch the operator who starts with facts, scope, dates, what's known and unknown. Then names costs, hiring freeze, 12% expense reduction, launch move 2 weeks, and finishes with next steps, vendor calls today, pricing update Monday, town hall Wednesday, audit in 21 days with a signed report. The second message may sting, but fear drops because a road appears. Bring it home. You tell your partner, "I'm burnt out, honest and useless." Sequence it. Facts: 3 late nights, 2 missed plans. Costs: your trust dipped, my energy tanked. Next steps: phone in the drawer 7-9. Saturday is the fixed time. Sunday we plan the week. You didn't perform vulnerability. You governed it. Logic carries truth across the room so emotion can rest. Now the harmless persona trap. Friendly leaders without enforcement invite tests. Scope creeps because no one fears the invoice. Payment slides because fees never fire. Boundaries erode because access has no price. You apologize for expectations and breed negotiations where decisions should live. The group learns the exchange rate. 1 sign buys 3 days. Affection collapses at the first cost because your kindness is an unsecured debt. Close the gap with teeth that fit the mission. Publish rules once, use them often, and keep your tone calm. Tie deadlines to ownership, not mood. Automate late fees. Move repeat offenders to a slower lane. Reward reliability with access and speed. In dating, answer warmly, inside windows you choose. Decline last-minute chaos and reward considerate planning. In teams, praise publicly and enforce privately with clear steps. Warning, reassignment, exit. Mercy works only after strength proves real. You cannot forgive a debt you cannot collect until consequence exists. Kindness is credit extended to future harm. Urgency theater comes next. Instant replies and impulsive statements feel like leadership and function like leaks. You lock yourself into weak positions because you commit before evidence matures and allies align. The seller who accepts the first low ball to keep momentum spends a quarter defending the discount he granted in hour 1. The politician who posts at rumor speed cements an error that verification would have erased by morning. The partner who texts back within seconds to every half invite becomes forgettable because scarcity never speaks. Adopt tempo control. Decide your clocks in peacetime and keep them under pressure. Pricing responses after sleep. Partnership decisions on Fridays after written briefs. Crisis updates at noon with sources attached. Use the pause to widen options, gather data, and coordinate co-signers so one measured statement lands with the weight of many. Delay is not avoidance, it is cultivation. Information ripens in silence. Allies take their places while you remain still and deliberate. Speed is a tool, not a virtue. Deploy it to close when terms are already yours, or to surprise when delay would expose you otherwise. Move on your clock. Finally, transparency without teeth. Disclosures without consequences become noise. "We value safety" means nothing If the counterfeiter keeps his storefront, "We take accountability" is aired. If the leader who broke policy hosts a town hall and keeps the title, visibility must hitch itself to proportionate penalties that reset norms. Post the metric and the trigger together. If defects exceed X, freeze releases. If response times miss Y, credits fire automatically. If any leader violates the code, demotion within 7 days, with the investigation summary published. People stop gambling against rules when rules collect. Examples decide belief. A marketplace bans a high-revenue seller for fakes and publishes the evidence trail, the clause invoked, and the appeal path. Thousands adjust overnight, and trust rises because teeth showed and due process stood. A hospital ties bonuses to infection reduction and posts weekly rates. Behavior changes by Tuesday. A team lead moves a chronic deadline misser off a flagship project, with one sentence linking role to record. The hallway gets quiet because justice stopped taking breaks. Even at home, one enforced bedtime with a simple chart achieves more than 10 heartfelt talks about trying our best. Thread the 4 corrections into one spine. Truth with sequence calms. Kindness with teeth protects. Tempo with discipline strengthens. Transparency with penalties are educational. You're not asked to be cruel. You are asked to be legible and remembered. Reputation is the memory of your consequences. Trust is the predictability of your clocks. Love that lasts is affection housed inside walls that keep the weather out. Make it practical now. Draft the 3-step sequence for the next hard message. Facts you can verify, costs you will bear, steps with dates and owners. Publish the boundary list that protects your mission. Office hours, payment terms, standards that never move. Adopt a 2-message ceiling before a call and a 24-hour rule before changing price. Create a penalty ladder sized to the harm, credit, pause, removal, and write the crisis schedule you will follow when the sky darkens. Alerts, verification, decision, action. Review each rung tied to a name, a time, and a trigger. You were promised that nice will earn loyalty, that truth will sell itself, that speed proves strength. These were lullabies. People move for advantage, clarity, and the belief you will act. Give them all 3. Speak less sugar and more sequence. Offer fewer apologies and more terms. Trade urgency for cadence and confession for policy. Build the structure now, so when storms arrive, emotion follows your rails and not the crowd's noise. Sequence, teeth, tempo, consequence. Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. You feel the room bend toward warmth, and without noticing, you bend with it. That is the first leak. Approval hunger does not shout. It edits your sentences, lowers your prices, and lengthens your emails until your decision is buried. Wanting to be liked, you explain what needs only to be announced. You discount what should hold the price. You chase people who run from their own promises. The frame no longer belongs to you. Factions study your appetite and feed you applause. See capture in ordinary scenes. A client sighs about the budget and waits. You fill the silence with an unnecessary offer. A partner delays signatures and hints at relationship. You widen scope to prove goodwill. An internal block raises morale concerns. You reopen settled policy to keep smiles. Each move buys a minute and sells the locks. The more affection you purchase, the higher the price tomorrow. Break the loop by making scarcity visible and non-negotiable. Fix response windows by category. Fix prices to written ladders. Tie exceptions to objective triggers: volume, prepayment, duration, never to looks, noise, or mood. Publish these constraints in calm weather. Then, when the storm arrives, point to the rules and stop talking. Respect is a climate made by forecasts that come true. If someone must dislike you for a day so your word can stand for a crucigeter's year, pay that price. Avoidance dressed as kindness breeds chaos you will later call unfair. You postpone clean nose because you fear being harsh. You offer one more chance because punishment feels heavy in your throat. You wait for the right moment to exit a failing arrangement, and in the waiting you teach everyone that rules are theater. Thresholds pass, costs multiply. When you finally enforce, it feels cruel only because it is late. Reclassify firmness as care for the state you are sworn to protect. Time, money, reputation, alliances. A timely penalty is a firebreak. A prompt exit is surgery that spares the organ. A short, calm no is an evacuation order before the river climbs the stairs. Practice the dull arts that prevent drama. Use a published ladder notice, pause, penalty, removal, and climb it automatically. Keep tone cool, cuts proportional, and timing fast. People heal from clean cuts. They do not heal inside fog. The third fracture is purity against stewardship, the theater that flatters mirrors and starves treasuries. You want to be spotless, so you refuse small necessary evils and manufacture larger ones. You decline a gritty ally because their optics offend your circle. The distribution line fails in storms. You reject an imperfect vendor to look principled. Shelves go empty, and you write essays while citizens queue. You brag that you never negotiate, then secretly carve exceptions until the word means nothing. Stewardship is not poetry, it is logistics. Your state is made of hours, cash, credibility, and the web of hands that move when you speak. Protect these, and your people eat. Sacrifice them to appear immaculate, and your people learn to live on speeches. Choose lesser harms on purpose to block greater harms already visible on the map. Say it plainly. This alliance is ugly and delivers medicine. This cut hurts and preserves payroll. This sequencing looks slow and prevents panic. Then come the identity traps golden collars you lock on yourself. You sell a public image, the nice boss, the open book, the always available friend, and under pressure that image becomes your warden. The nice boss cannot enforce on time without a moral crisis. The open book overshares strategy and gifts adversaries your thresholds. The always available friend answers at midnight and trains the city to harvest your sleep. These frames feel virtuous and drain capacity. Free yourself by writing a private constitution that outranks image. Decide in daylight who you are in a storm. The person whose word predicts action, whose pace follows policy, whose mercy includes teeth. Replace slogans with scripts that survive heat. Not "my door is always open," but "office hours are posted and kept." Not total transparency, but radical clarity about rules. Selective confidentiality about tactics. Not "we're a family," but "we're a professional house with standards." Understand the enemy's favorite tools. Your cravings, your delays, your costumes. Approval addicts over-explain. Rivals fish for paragraphs. Avoiders postpone. Parasites breed in fog. Purists grandstand. Shortages march. The counter is boring and strong short sentences. Visible calendars, published ladders, pre-committed prices, quiet alliances that move trucks in rain, a schedule that answers louder than your face. When these exist, framing returns to you. The crowd performs, you govern. Practice 3 drills. First, the scarcity drill. When pressured, do not invent favors. Point to the law you already wrote. Second, the enforcement drill. When a breach occurs, move 1 rung within the promised window, even if the mood begs to negotiate. Third, the triage drill. In crisis, feed supply before narrative, cash before claps, allies before image. If you must lose, lose a headline and keep a payroll. People sleep under ledgers, not under tweets. All of this will feel cold at first. You will watch a frown and want to pay it away. You will hear harsh and want to soften the border you just rebuilt. You will see a chance to polish your halo and want to spend the afternoon in the mirror. Breathe. Count. Look at the map, the pantry, the calendar. Ask what keeps the most people fed and the most work on schedule. Then do that, even if the camera hates you today. When your pattern holds, the camera grows bored and your city grows calm. Walk at dusk and count the quiet victories that performance never notices. A contract honored because you kept the pause. A rumor that died because the standard spoke faster than you. A delivery that arrived in rain because you shook the rough hand that owns trucks. None of these trends. All of this feeds. The purpose of power is not to glow. It is to guard the conditions that let ordinary life proceed without asking your name. You will still feel the pull of applause and the sting of rejection. Let them pass like weather over stone. Your task is the climate. Hold your rules when it is easy so they can hold you when it is not. Refuse to let wounds hold the pen that writes your frame. Admit nothing to the mob except what the policy already promised. Give enemies boredom. Give citizens bread. Choose governance over performance. The city is your name. The law is your spine. When the law is soft, the city starves loud. You tell yourself you are listening. The square hears vacancy. When no frame lands, appetite becomes government. Gossip channels turn into ministries with emojis for seals. Cliques collect tolls in attention. External pundits mint narratives that travel faster than memos and stick longer than facts. They monetize your fog views, leverage, influence while you pay in hours and face. Ambiguity is not neutral. It is a market. Every unruled corner sells access to someone. A quick exception becomes a precedent. 3 precedents become a custom. By Friday, the custom is a right claimed in public. Inside, your guards' standards, schedules, consequences grow tired. They sprint at every ping until stamina replaces judgment and your calendar becomes the city's property. Emergencies multiply because emergencies now win. The cost hides as kindness. You delay a boundary to spare a feeling, and drift trains the streets to move you. A team invents a pilot you never sanctioned. A vendor posts a clarification that implies policy before policy exists. A friendly account interprets your silence as consent and auctions your reputation to their audience. None of this looks like revolt. It looks like coordination without you, because you never drew the line they must respect. Ominous becomes obvious when the walls start whispering. People ask for your soft hours, late night, public stage, stacked agenda because you taught them when the gate is ajar. Emotion becomes currency. Whoever pays the loudest buys your focus. The city learns the cheapest path to power is rumor, not work. Without firm framing, legitimacy bleeds in 1,000 polite cuts. Reputational whiplash begins with mixed signals. You praise discipline and quietly reward improvisation. You declare no exceptions and carve 3. You announce hybrid is permanent, then pressure office hours under another name. Monday's memo sets a rule. Wednesday's corridor softens it. Friday's Q&A denies the softening. People stop reading your words. They read your weather. Forensics are colder than tone. Cycle times lengthen. Variance widens. Discounts creep because counterparties sense you will overpay to end embarrassment. Legal hours rise as ambiguity invites interpretation wars. HR spirals interviews, statements, training bloom where brick should be. Talent with options goes quiet, then gone. Not with drama, with a clean calendar and a forwarding address. Partners price you as risk and add buffers, longer terms, higher fees, fewer public bets, because volatility is a tax. Soft behavior writes hard costs on the ledger. Goodwill credits replace standards. Grace windows eat margins. Scope creep enters as just this once and becomes doctrine. You can measure the bleed, dollars in make goods, hours in rework, opportunities lost to rivals who ship quietly while you explain loudly. The brand tilts from steady to noisy, and noisy brands pay more for trust they used to inherit. Modern scenes make the math plain. A creator posts a rumor about your next release. Users anchor expectations. Correcting the story later costs ad spend, apology hours, and credibility you cannot invoice back. A senior hire bypasses the process for speed and receives applause. The process becomes optional for anyone who flatters your impatience. A client pushes a change past your objection, labels it urgent, and tweets the win. If you refuse, you are cruel. If you agree, you are captured. Either way, the city learns. Storms move you. Then the late, loud gesture. Shamed by drift, you swing to spectacle caps in subject lines, effective immediately. Access reviews, audits. The tone is iron. The timing is confession. People obey in the room and rebel in the alleys. Harsh swings prove you never governed the tempo. Because you refused early calibrated force, you must wield a broad blade that cuts wrong. The innocent take the blow because speed is blind. The architects of fog slide through gaps, your theater widens. Tragic realism is plain. Injuries should be few, precise, and early. Benefits should be steady, public, and paced. You reversed it, benefits first. Injuries late and loud. What needed a sentence on day 2 becomes a purge on day 200. The city files your performance under pain, not law, and prepares for the next weather report. Compliance becomes acting. Loyalty becomes hedging. Open the ledger of waste and look without flinching. Lost time. Hours poured into clarity sessions that clarify nothing because no consequence follows. Legal spirals. Reviews and statements that patch ambiguity instead of ending it. PR spend. Campaigns to correct rumors you financed by failing to frame. Morale burn. Your best people covering uneven rules, then updating resumes in quiet. Budget bleed. Discounts given to mute outrage. Overtime to fix avoidable fires. Make goods that teach the market to shake the tree. Add the invisible taxes. Decision fatigue from endless reconsidering. Alliance fatigue from propping up a wall you won't reinforce. Opportunity cost from windows missed while you narrate motive. Capital cost from partners demanding premiums to stand with a brand that moves like weather. Each line is small. Together they starve the city under alarms that never end. The sober fix is early, quiet law. Choose 5 standards you can enforce without heat and without exception. Tie each to a clock and a price you will personally carry. Decision Thursday, consequence Friday. Refund when we are late. Removal when the standard breaks twice. Publish once, briefly. Enforce twice, calmly. Praise 3 times for those who held the line under pressure. Replace trial balloons with trial actions. Small pilots with hard edges. Measured results. Quiet scaling. Make ambiguity expensive and alignment cheap. Starve rumor courts by refusing to litigate in threads. Announce where decisions live and where they don't. Invite dissent inside the council. Require unity outside the door. Repress attention. Guard long blocks like granaries. Retire as soon as possible as a lifestyle. Your tone is the city's temperature. Keep it room cold and regular. People will call the wall cold until they sleep well behind it. Rebuild alliances by rewarding those who stayed steady while others performed panic. Reduce access for those who monetized your fog. Move benefits in phases. When injury is required, deliver it once and clean. Do not soothe with exemptions today that you will punish in fury next month. Mercy after order keeps love. Mercy before order buys contempt. In private life, mirror the state. Promise less, keep exact. Name a boundary once and let your calendar carry it. Refuse bait for validation. Accept rejection without writing essays to strangers. Those who respect law will meet you on the field of terms. Those who need your tremble will find softer courts. Psychology is not decoration, it is infrastructure. Build it, and emotion returns to its lane. You can stop starvation, close the ajar gates, replace alarms with cadence. Put edges down early so force can stay small. When your word becomes a clock, and your clock becomes a wall, legitimacy returns the quiet wealth that lets a city work without looking at you every hour. Law first, then peace. Peace is engineered, not wished. You were taught to chase warmth first and fix structure later, to make people like you and trust would follow. But affection without order is a tent in the wind. If you want loyalty that survives weather, pivot the aim. Be predictable and safe to cooperate with. Durable affection grows on credible order standards that hold at noon and in the storm. People do not cling to moods, they cling to maps that work when the rain begins. Sequence for stability. Competence, boundaries, results, selective kindness. Competence is your first oath. You carry weight on schedule, with clean hands and no theater. Your plan becomes a calendar. Your calendar becomes delivery. When you miss, you repair before the rumor blooms and show the receipt. In practice, this is simple. The file arrives when promised. The gym session happens without debate. The apology includes restitution. Competence lowers everyone's pulse because the lights stay on, regardless of your feelings. Boundaries protect that competence from being looted. Guard mornings like a treasury. Do not answer at midnight unless blood or fire is involved. Decline meetings with no agenda. Price your time and let silence carry half your no. When a line is crossed, do not argue the standard act once. Reduce access, narrow scope, reschedule with penalty. Calm, clean, final. A gate that swings for pleading invites chaos. A gate that moves on schedule invites respect. People relax when edges are visible. Results lock the gate. Promises mature into numbers you can point to. Projects shipped, invoices paid, error rates falling, habits kept for 90 days. In dating, results look like observable respect. On-time arrivals, truth told the first time, leaving when contempt appears. In family, results mean help with terms, budgets, receipts, review dates, not endless rescue operations. Once outcomes stack, warmth changes meaning. Kindness is no longer bait for attention. It becomes the gentle weather inside strong walls. Affection now rides behind reliability, not ahead of it. Hold this inversion even when it feels cold. You do not perform harshness, you perform clarity. When your competence is stable and your borders are real, your warmth becomes believable because it is never payment for disrespect. The room stops testing you for holes and starts resting inside your order. Laughter lasts because the house doesn't leak. Mercy after enforcement. Mercy has meaning only when optional. Kindness without capacity reads as surrender and breeds anxiety. First, publish rules, timelines, and penalties. Then, enforce once. Only then open your hand. On a team, a missed standard triggers the posted consequence lost bonus, scope reduced, remediation plan followed by a path to earn restoration with measurable improvement. In a relationship, forgiveness follows full ownership and verified change apology, restitution, new routines logged and reviewed at set dates. In a family, generosity travels through structures, groceries bought from a list, rent paid directly, Milestones checked, not through blank transfers that feed denial. Keep the tone like dry steel. No sermons, no cenes. You mark the line, deliver the fit penalty, and return to building. You do not punish to feel powerful or forgive to feel holy. You govern, because people know the sequence rule. Breach, consequence, path back, uncertainty shrinks, tests fade, gossip starves, respect grows where drama used to feed, calm as policy. Define peace not as silence but as low volatility, short meetings, clear handoffs, quick justice. Short meetings mean decisions tied to owners and deadlines, not to moods. Clear handoffs mean one page that names the next action, the owner, and the date, so work does not drown in just checking in. Quick justice means a breach meets a measured consequence within a day, not a month of tension. This is humane. Guesswork is the most expensive anxiety in any group. Rules remove guesswork, timelines remove begging, penalties remove bargaining. People breathe when tomorrow is legible. Make order emotionally attractive. Speak plainly. Praise after the standard is met so kindness feels like a seal of quality, not a bribe for effort. Use charm as a delivery system, not cargo, a steady tone that carries hard truths across the table without blood. No for Friday, yes for Monday at 9. Smile once, then let the calendar carry the rest. When your map is real, even sensitive people settle. Their nervous system stops scanning for hidden traps. Build visible habits that prove this policy. Write 3 rules for your mornings and keep them for 30 days. Post office hours and honor them. Replace half your apologies with documented fixes. When someone pushes past your no, don't, debate, move, a lever they can feel. Time, access, responsibility. When you forgive, set a review date and require proof. When you show kindness, tie it to behavior, not to flattery. Your predictability will start paying quiet dividends. Fewer crises, cleaner deals, evenings that belong to you again. Modern life will tempt you to trade order for applause, always reachable, endlessly forgiving, permanently entertaining. It flatters pride while it empties the treasury. Citizens never attach to a circus. They attach to roads, lights, and law. Your partner becomes playful when the bills are paid and the schedule is real. Your team takes creative risks when the floor won't collapse. Your friends trust you with silence because your word does not sway with the weather. This is how affection becomes durable, not as fireworks, but as climate. Reframe the aim. You are not here to be adored and then, maybe, trusted. You are here to be predictable and safe, to cooperate with competent, bounded, delivering so that warmth, when it arrives, rests on confidence that you will protect the state and keep your oath under pressure. Sequence for stability. Mercy after enforcement. Calm as policy. Order first, then let the rooms be kind. Be predictable, then be loved. Steel governs quietly. You do not scream to rule a room. You design rails so minds travel your way without noticing the tracks. Begin with the framing protocol. Fact, cost, next. Speak in threes, plain and steady, as if calling coordinates in fog. Fact means only what can be verified: dates, receipts, names, clauses, exact misses. Cost means you price each path in simple numbers, so drama cannot hide the bill. Ship now and buy refunds and distrust. Hold one day and buy reliability. Say yes to a flattering detour and pay with focus. Say no and keep the road clean. Next means you assign an action with an owner, a deadline, and teeth. If you cannot assign an owner and a time, you did not decide. Use this skeleton everywhere. At work, in conflict, and when your own fear tries to bargain for delay. Apply the frame until it is muscle memory. A client pushes to expand scope in a chat. Fact: the request adds 4 features. Cost: quality drops or the calendar slips. Next: approve a change order by Wednesday noon or we ship the original Friday. At home, tension spikes. Fact: voices climbed. Cost: keep talking and trust breaks. Pause and dinner runs late. Next: stop for 30 minutes, reconvene at 8, and if the tone slips, we try tomorrow. You are not performing wisdom. You are installing a map so heat has rails and the room can move. Design the incentive architecture so price signals replace scolding. Make the desired behavior cheaper and the wrong behavior costly in time and status. Offer priority queues for clean communication, credits for early delivery, and public acknowledgement for reliability that rescues the whole. Because you shipped on Tuesday for 3 months, you get your first look at Q4 work. Raise the price of fog. Extra forms after 2 misses. Slower response for chronic drift, and probation tiers for repeat offenders. Price escalations in hours as well as money. Every detour adds structured delay nobody wants. People flow toward what reduces friction and grants esteem. You are not moralizing. You are shaping the riverbed so water runs where it should. Build credible consequence memory so your words travel without your voice. Write short rules while spirits are cool. Deposits are non-refundable after kickoff. 3 late deliverables in a quarter trigger review. Public contempt ends access for 30 days. Personal attacks end access permanently. Enforce once, calmly, proportionally. No stacked warnings, no theater. Document outcomes, date, rule, breach, consequence, effect, until your ledger functions like case law. Memory with teeth. Precedent protects the innocent because the lines are visible. It protects you because you no longer improvise punishments from mood. Over time, people stop arguing with you and start negotiating with your record. Control tempo with ruthless patience. Waiting is power when it belongs to a clock you cannot bargain with. T24 to gather facts only. T72 to price trade-offs and draft scenarios with owners. T168 to choose and announce. No decisions before inputs. No delays after the window. Install. Tripwires. If payment is 7 days late, service pauses. If a vendor misses twice in 30 days, bids reopen. If a partner leaks, access collapses to email for 2 weeks. Train until it is boring. The clock becomes your governor. Fear sees dates and sits down. This is not slowness, it is maturity on a schedule. Use silence as selection pressure. Measured non-response makes rivals overshare and unserious actors self-eliminate. Move hot disputes into written channels where receipts rule and exaggerations shrink. Please send a 3-line note. Fact, cost, next. Outside the proper venue, you decline the ground. Silence is not sulking. It is a filter that saves attention for decisions. The uncommitted drift away. The theatrical exhaust themselves, and what remains is signal. You are not withholding love, you are conserving law. Run alliance math with visible patronage. Assign roles in daylight: who decides, who executes, who audits, and price exchanges cleanly. If a partner wants exposure, tie it to a deliverable that lifts the whole. If a teammate wants flexibility, tie it to measurable output. Reward loyalty in public, where serious people can see the regime. Credit in updates, better terms after reliable quarters, first access to new opportunities. Distribute scarce favors with intention. They anchor coalitions in bad weather. Prune parasites early: those who stall decisions, drain energy, and blur responsibility. Replace them with tools, training, or talent that multiplies loyalty. Coalitions are not romance. They are math with names. Treat reputation as policy, roads and bridges, not perfume. Standardize signature behaviors you can keep under siege. punctuality, calm under attack, oaths kept, repair after error. When you are wrong, name the breach precisely, fix it materially, and install a guardrail with a date. When rumor rises, respond with a dated fact pattern: what happened, what you did, what is next, then return to production. Publish a one-page code in human language so people can forecast you and volunteer for your world. Keep it brief enough to memorize and sharp enough to enforce. Predictability becomes a service people pay for. Stitch the toolkit into a weekly loop so the method becomes nerve. Monday, review buffers, cache, calendar, narrative, and confirm 3 essential moves. Rehearse the framing protocol aloud until it sounds like breathing. Midweek, enforce 1 rule without heat, reward 1 ally in daylight, move 1 hot thread into writing, and log 1 lesson from reality. Friday, run a post-mortem that honors candor over ego, update case law and the one-page code if anything changed, and send 2 patronage notes, 1 reward, 1 invitation. These small gears keep your state running while moods come and go. Modern scenes show the steel. A brand pushes scope without budget. You answer with the frame. Fact: 4 new features. Cost: quality drops or the calendar slips. Next: change order by Wednesday or ship original Friday. Incentives: bundled discount if signed today, priority in the next sprint if not. Consequence: memory. Extras: pause until payment posts. Tempo: decision at noon Wednesday, no chat debates. Silence: all discussion moves to a one-page doc. Alliance math: loop in the project lead whose reliability is public. There is no fight, only rails. Another day, a teammate posts a jab in a public thread to dodge accountability. Consequence: memory. 1 calm enforcement, public channels limited for 2 weeks. Path to restore defined. Terrain through writing, a brief with fact, cost, next. Incentive: restoration credit after 3 clean handoffs. Patronage: praise the quiet colleague who kept the standard, visibly. Buffers: your evidence vault shows the timeline. The note goes out with dates and repair. Justice feels like architecture, not mood. Underneath it all is the shadow you are meeting. The old urge to prove, to perform, to win on volume. Let the system answer. Speak in 3s. Price: the paths. Enforce once. Wait on schedule. Decline the wrong ground. Pay allies in daylight. Keep your code when tired. In time you stop performing strength because the system is strong. People stop testing you because results repeat. Peace arrives not as luck but as policy that walks ahead of you and turns conflict into a cul-de-sac. Calm mind, clear law, clean move. He who wishes to be obeyed must know how to command. You choose to rule by design. Minds first, then markets. Rules before sentiment. When the process speaks first, life quiets. Agendas are short because decisions arrive framed, objective, options, cost. Prices are posted, duties clear, and penalties credible. Justice lands without theater. Keep the terms, keep the peace. Defect, pay once and return to work. Rumor starves because outcomes repeat. People sleep because your word today matches your conduct tomorrow. You stop chasing crises and start preventing them. The city inside you becomes legible. Fewer alarms, more work, a horizon not cluttered by fires you set yourself. Walk the city-state at first light. Shutters lift, the baker weighs flour, the smith checks the edge. Neighbors nod with the calm pride of people protected by laws they accepted. Handovers feel like a torch passed, not thrown. Payrolls land on schedule. Deliveries match the ledger. Disputes meet a bench where the answer is known before voices rise. You skip the parade and move resources, tighten gates, reroute labor, settle accounts, return to building. Even rivals respect the posted costs. The walls speak first. signs, schedules, standards. Gossip arrives late and leaves hungry. Peace isn't a miracle, it's logistics repeated until they look like weather. Design rules the mind by giving it sequence. You speak in order: premise, boundary, decision, enforcement. Meetings end early because the frame carries the room. Your attention obeys a map. Deep work where alerts cannot trespass. Rest guarded like coin. Alliances chosen for capacity, not applause. You price behavior the way markets do. Reliability earns access. Defection meets a closed gate and a quiet ledger entry. Affection deepens not because you plead, but because safety compounds small promises kept on dull days that protect the big ones when storms arrive. Hold to humane realism. You are a steward, not a spectacle. No cruelty for display. Severity is a scalpel only where infection threatens the wall, only as deep as needed, never to prove a point. And no mercy before order. Mercy without spine invites wolves to nose the fence. Mercy after order turns rivals into contributors who understand the price of peace. Courage without theater is simpler than it appears. Act early, act cleanly, carry the bill without complaint, and refuse to turn enforcement into entertainment. Keep promises like a craftsman keeps tools oiled, returned, ready. When you err, repair quickly and plainly to restore trust, not to harvest pity. Dignity saves hours that pride would waste. In modern life, design looks plain. You publish expectations before work begins. You guard the hours that feed the treasury: sleep, health, deep practice. You do not argue in comment threads, you post results. A partner who honors terms gets public praise and better terms. A partner who defects meets a firm boundary and a paid, final invoice. At home, standards stand so love can rest. Phones leave the table. Money has a plan. Bedtimes exist. The quiet after dinner is not awkward. It is proof the house is safe. Children learn that rules are a shelter, not a threat. Friends learn that your yes is a contract, not a wish. Your name begins to travel ahead like a quiet envoy. Doors open because it carries a record of order. Now the oath to frame first. You vow to speak in sequence, think, set terms, decide, execute. You vow to price behavior with clarity. Rewards swift, penalties brief and credible. You vow to let memory carry your rule. Reputation will announce you before you arrive and defend you after you leave. You vow to carry costs without complaint, to choose alliances that multiply strength, and to keep secrets that protect the whole. You vow to let kindness ride behind strength, horse first, carriage second, so your people can build in peace and love can survive weather without bargaining for safety each night. Storms will still visit, but fewer will become disasters. The walls will hold, deals will stay clean, mercy will keep its dignity because it does not leak, and affection will outlast applause because credibility stands guard at the gate. Peace is not begged, it is engineered, day after day, by a ruler who governs the mind and therefore the map. I frame first, so peace can last.